All right, well, let's get started this morning. We do have a quick update on Corey Harawira-Naera after those frightening scenes last night on the field at Accor Stadium. The Canberra Raiders have said that he's recovering in Westmead Hospital and they are showing signs of improvement and that they're hopeful that he will be discharged today. So we are sending Corey Harawira-Naera all the best. We hope for a speedy recovery. It was certainly frightening to see those scenes last night on the field, and we'll be talking a little bit more about that game later on in the show. But let's get stuck into our Sunday salutes this morning. Joey, you're first up.
I got the guys making their debut on the weekend. There was 3 of them. 2 for the Cowboys, Zach Labert and Robert Derby, and also Luca Moretti for the Eels. But they all played really well. They all ripped in, actually. They showed real class. He looked really dangerous, Zach Labert, on occasion. And then after the game, what it means, family, friends, the sacrifice everyone makes to chase their dream. Luca Moretti with a few of his mates. He's a Roosters junior, Luca. Went to Waverley College.
And looks like
he's got a good collection of lunatic mates. So I dare say they would have had a good time after. That's so good. Yeah, the scenes with the Cowboys boy with their family, it just doesn't get better.
Was that similar scenes to when you made your NRL debut?
No, not at all.
All right, Gal, what's your salute this morning?
I want to praise the Broncos for saying thank you to the Warriors, having thank you on the back of their jerseys. Sponsorship is so important these days, so to be able to pass up a spot there to put thank you to the New Zealand Warriors on the back of the jersey and handing the jersey over to them, I thought was fantastic. We've been so thankful to the Warriors for the past few years. They've done the sacrifices they made to keep this game going. So well done to the Warriors, but there is a negative. The behaviour of the crowd last night was appalling, to be honest. And I think, I've been a big advocate for having as much rugby league over in New Zealand as we possibly can going forward and then being able to take games all around the country. But the way that crowd behaved last night, it's going to be impossible. The NRL can't let more games go there and travel around the country because have 3 or 4 streakers in a night was just not good enough for a professional organisation like the NRL.
And you could hear on the speakers around the stadium, they just were saying
it was terrible behaviour.
The announcer was asking for respect for the players, which I completely.
Well,
who's got $5,500 to blow on that?
They've ruined it for the New Zealand Warriors. All the sacrifices the Warriors made over the past few years to keep this game going. The country deserves more games of rugby league over there, more NRL games, but they can't. They simply can't take them there now.
And I don't think we can even call them streakers anymore. It's just pitch invaders these days.
Just idiots.
Did they have their kit off?
They did. No. I think they had the kit on. Yeah, just stupid. Just a stupid thing to do. And
it's
like
also
a $5,000 fine.
Safety thing for the players.
Yeah, well,
exactly.
we saw some in the past, and they've been touching the NRL players. It is a safety thing. All right, Roo, what's your salute this morning?
Well, my salute is to the Sky Blues in New South Wales Rugby League this week. They've been in camp for a few days, and yesterday they put on a clinic. There was around 100 and odd young girls that came and participated, and all of the girls took the time out, played with them throughout the day. There was multiple stations. It was a really great atmosphere, and just to see, even as we were walking across from the hotel to COE, just to see these young girls with tears in their eyes, and they're yelling at them, "Hey Kezzy, hey Millie, hey Kennedy," and they were just screaming at them. They absolutely loved it. So I think, especially in a week like Origin, yes, it's about football, but it's also about grassroots. And, women's participation has been fantastic. And to put an all-girls clinic on that day was wonderful, and all the players and the participants were fantastic.
Yeah, great to see. All right, well, let's have a look at the results so far this round. Of course, it is a split round, so only a few games were played last night. We did see the Raiders getting the win over the Rabbitohs, the Broncos getting the job done over the Warriors, the Eels with a dominant performance over the Cowboys in the end, and then the Dolphins running out winners against the Dragons at Redcliffe. So, Gal, if we have a look at the ladder and how it stands at the moment, what do you make of it all?
What a competition it's been. It's been fantastic. It's very, very hard to pick the winners, but the Broncos lead the way from the Panthers and the Sharks, the Rabbitohs, the Storm are there, the Dolphins were going fantastic. No one would have picked them to be up in 6th spot midway through the season, but the Raiders also going very, very good. The Warriors, the Seagulls, the Eels, the Titans, the Roosters, who are struggling. We don't know what's going on with them. The Knights are going not that great. The Cowboys are terrible. The Bulldogs are the Bulldogs. And the West Tigers and the Dragons, well, they probably deserve to be there, particularly the Dragons. They're in all sorts.
You just said the Bulldogs are the Bulldogs.
Yeah, well, they are. I thought they'd be around that position. I thought they'd definitely improve from last year, but I didn't think they'd quite be in the top 8. So I think around sort of between 12th and 15th is where they'll end up.
What side of the bed did you get up this morning? You are ruthless.
Ruthless? Just being honest, Joey. Honest is what it is.
I like it,
Just being honest.
The winter's getting to you.
Yeah. Well, this week's Manshake's Gutsiest Player of the Week award goes to Ricky's Raiders, who last night managed to rally together to seal an important victory over the Rabbitohs, despite losing Corey Hadawira-Naera to a very scary incident in the second half. The Canberra forward collapsed late in the second half, suffering a seizure, and had to be taken from the field on a medicab later to hospital. And Raiders and Bunnies players forming a human shield around him to protect Corey's privacy. On the field, it was a real class act. So our thoughts are with Corey and his family today. In fact, he has just spoken, providing an update on his situation. So let's take you there now.
Good everybody, Corey Hadawira-Naera here. Just a short update on how I'm going. I'm back at a family members now. Got discharged from hospital about 3:30 this morning. But firstly I want to thank the boys from both teams, our boys Raiders and the Rabbitohs, our medical staff, as well as the Rabbitohs medical staff, the paramedics, the doctors, coaching staff from both teams that have shown concern, as well as all the footy fans, Raiders fans, family, friends. I've been pretty fortunate to receive a lot of messages about what happened last night, and I'm doing a lot better now. So love to you all for thinking of me and prayers and that. And, I'm back on the mend, not in the clear yet, but we'll get some more scans and sort it out. And health comes first, but I'm obviously hoping to get back on the field as soon as possible as well. But love to all, and I'm very fortunate to have a lot of people concerned about me and thinking of me. So, Sure.
Oh, Roo, that is good news to hear and see him speaking and knowing that he was able to get discharged from hospital.
Absolutely, and it's wonderful to see him just chatting to everybody. And I think what he touched on as well, the appreciation that he's given to the support that he's received, but also to both teams to show that respect of creating a shield for him so that the cameras weren't on him, the medical staff were able to work with enough space and able to give him the treatment that he needed at the time. I think that really stood out to me, and I think that really epitomised why rugby league is such a great sport. And teams opposite each other, and they both bonded together to help him in that time that he needed it most. And yeah, I think that's what really stood out for me. And then the Raiders obviously just went on with it game-wise after that. But it was great to hear that he was talking and he was moving before he left the field as well.
All right, well, let's get on to that game. The Raiders, 33-26 victory over the Rabbitohs. What did you make of this performance from Canberra, Gal?
Good performance, very gutsy, as we said at the start of the match. They had a great first half. This guy here was unreal, Horsburgh, in the first half. And he's normally a middle player too, played on the right edge, so I thought he was pretty good. Led by, 18-8 at half time, I think it was, to the Raiders. And to South, in his credit, they come right back into it and hit the lead. But, the Raiders just wouldn't go away. I thought it was a pretty high-quality match. Both teams had a really high completion rate. It would have been up over 80%. So it was a good quality game, and at the back end of the game, when the Raiders need something, the big gun Jack Whiten come to the forefront and made a line break and set up that last try. So when you need your big guns to stand up, he certainly did, and that was a crucial game for the Raiders. They're going pretty good.
What about Jack here? Jack Whiten. Give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball. And he plays a block play. Jack looks back.
And then he turns straight to Broncos.
Had he passed it, would have been a forward pass. Yeah. I thought the same thing. Yeah. It was actually very good work by the winger, the way he threw it. Actually managed to get it back in. And to Jack's credit, he's lucky he threw it just perfectly, because had Jack stuck his hand out, he would have hit it and knocked it on.
Yeah, well, I actually heard Croker speak about it after the game. He said, I actually thought I threw it to Jack. He said, so lucky Starlo was Starlo was there, because I actually thought I threw it to Jack.
Yeah, Jack was definitely in front of him. I was actually watching, when the pass went behind him, like, what's happened here? Then all of a sudden, he's caught it and ran on with it. But
that first half, Josh Papali'i ran for 110 metres in 17 minutes. Mm-hmm. So he was out to just bring it. And then Tarpany was fantastic as well.
Tarpany and Horsburgh.
They were fantastic.
Fantastic. The second half, they were probably a little bit buggered. It didn't quite go on with it. And as I said, it's just South Sydney's credit, they come right back into the match. But the Raiders just wouldn't go away. Look, I love their coach. I love Ricky Stewart. Got a great relationship with him. But they just remind me of him. He'll scrap over a peanut, Ricky Stewart, seriously. and that's what they did, the Raiders. They kept scrapping all night and eventually got the win.
Once again, the genius, I don't use that word lightly, the genius of Cody Walker. The ball playing, 3 try assists or 4 try assists. It's just so good to watch. He's a genius. Him hold this pass up, looking at the defence, reacting to the defence. Jed Cartwright, first try in the NRL. good moustache too. But Cody, once again, a lot of players out, but he really stood up. Look at the pass selection, how far he goes into the line, just looking up to react to the defence, not going into the line premeditating. He's a genius.
And he drives a lot of that second half comeback for the Rabbitohs.
Yeah.
Like, they've been really good at their second halves this year, and he's got a lot to do with it.
What about next week? It's a big game for Jared Croker, but Ricky Stewart spoke in the post-match press conference and he said that while Jared will celebrate his 300th next week, he's actually not going to select him against the Tigers, who they'll be playing in Campbelltown, and let him celebrate his 300th NRL game at home the following week. What do we think of this decision to sit him out for a week?
I think it's a really good decision. There's only a handful of players who have played 300 games. Gal, I understand you played yours away.
Yeah, look, I've got to say, it's interesting for me. I just love playing footy, so I always wanted to play every week whenever I could play. So I would want to play, and I imagine that he may want to play also. But in saying that, I had my 300th game up in Brisbane at Suncourt Stadium.
I love
Got hammered
They love you
and
up there,
Brisbane.
don't they?
How much they love me up there. Every time I touched the ball, they booed me. So had the time of my life when we got beat. So yeah, I wouldn't. If he can have it at home and get a win, do that. But I mean, look, I just love playing week in, week out. So I never even considered sitting it out and waiting for the week after. But that's Ricky's decision, so good on him.
He's so selfless too. Like, Jared Croker will do whatever Ricky says is best for the team, and I think this is an opportunity to really, celebrate that 300th for him. And he'll do whatever the team needs. But good on Jared. I think it's just great to see him back in first grade. You can see how much he loves it too.
Yeah, and what a milestone it is, 300 games in the NRL. Well, it was a relatively close affair in New Zealand. The Broncos coming out on top 26-22 against the Warriors. 4 tries in it for each side, but it all came down to the boot in the end. The Broncos, they did have a number of players missing out on Origin duty. How did you sum that one up, Roo?
Oh, I thought this was an incredible game. I think the Warriors had 6 tries disallowed. The Broncos had 1 try disallowed, 1 or 2. And there was plenty happening. I thought Gallen Watney-Zelezniak, he brought plenty of energy for the home side there. And Tristan Saylor, like, towards the back end of the half, we saw him with ball in hand, the great things that he did. But that try saver in the first half, that's got to top the list for the year so far. That was an incredible try saver.
What did you make of Tristan in this? Because it had been a while since he had played a top grade NRL.
Saved a couple of tries, and that's something you can't coach. It comes down to desire. And, stopping tries, put his body on the line. I thought he played really well. It looks like he's built up.
This was one of the best.
That was amazing.
That was
the fact he knew
incredible.
he had his hand there
Yeah.
in the right spot and didn't move it around. That was an incredible effort, I thought he played really well, Tristan Saylor. I thought he was great. I thought DWZ, he was good and bad. He bombed 2 tries at the start of the match that they should have scored without a doubt. But I thought all in all, the fact that Reynolds and Mann on the weekend was probably the difference. And I thought with 15 or 20 minutes to go, that was gone, the Warriors. And at the back end of the game, they come home, scored 2 tries. And there was a disallowed try they had at the back end of the game. Their centre, Pompey,
Grabbed the
for some reason grabbed the jersey. Now, would done virtually nothing, but you just cannot grab the jersey. It was
He's a good player.
he's a good. Both the Warriors sets were fantastic, but it was just a dumb play. Like, there's so many cameras these days, you just can't get away with it. And look, the Broncos player was pretty lucky because he played for the penalty. He did not even make an effort to go to the player, but luckily they went to the video and. Yeah, look,
It's pretty clear.
It was clear as
grabs
day.
him.
It couldn't have been a try. I don't know if it would have stopped him enough to
Well, that's the
stop
thing.
the tackle.
I think Montoya still gets there.
I agree with you, but the fact is you just cannot do it. You just can't do it. You can't grab an opposition player's jersey and impede him at all, and he did, so it's a penalty.
You could see how frustrated a lot of the other players were.
It was a frustrating game. Stop and start, as you said, the nudists on the beach.
The nudists. They weren't even nudists.
Adam Reynolds, I thought it was Adam Reynolds.
Stand out.
Awesome, yeah.
I reckon it's his best game for the Broncos. His running game, he took him on a lot. Set up a great try for Ezra Mann.
I think it was good for the number 8, Paliasia.
He was good too.
And Jensen, he was fantastic. Fanua Blake for the Warriors was unreal. I thought the battle in the middle was pretty good, but I agree with Joe. Reynolds was a difference. And he ran.
You don't normally see him.
No, you don't normally see him take the line on too much, but he threatened the line. He makes a good line break here, I'm pretty sure, and sets up a try. Or maybe not that one, but he
There's
does.
another one where
he does set up a
disallowed.
try.
Here it is.
And he was excellent. Really, really good. As I said, probably his best game.
What a great great buy.
What a great look! I was pretty critical of South Sydney. I still don't think it was the right thing to do. They let him go.
I think it was.
Well, I think both clubs have benefited.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win. I agree.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. I mean, Ilias is going fantastic. He's playing really well. He's gone to the Broncos and turned them around. So I agree. It's an absolute win-win.
Do you think the Broncos should be looking at securing him even longer than the contract he's
When's
on?
he
He's still got next year to go on the contract. I think it's a 3-year deal. So look, he'd be 33 next year, will he? I'm not sure he'll be up, but look, he's going great. Now whether he can keep going the way he's going, the body's going to hold up. Who knows? He's already missed a couple of games this year, but if he keeps playing the way he's playing, there's no reason he can't stay on for another year or two.
Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show, and in that ad break we have just confirmed and we have locked in that every bullseye that is hit during Freddie's pass-off, $100 will be donated to the Gotcha for Life campaign. So, Gal, I think you hit 6.
You could have told me before.
So, why you would have tried harder?
I would have just got more, I reckon.
So that's $600 donated to the Gotcha for Life Foundation. So great work that they are doing. It is one pass at a time campaign, and the details are on your screen as well if you would like to donate. Anything and everything is welcome. But let's talk about the Dolphins and the Dragons at Redcliffe. The Dolphins winning 26 points to 12. Joey, this was probably one of your favourite nights.
Yeah, I thought it was at Suncorp. The Dolphins are absolutely astonishing. I thought they'd be coming last or second last. When Sean O'Sullivan went down and tore his pec, their halfback, I said, oh, that's it. They won't win a game. Lucky to win 1 or 2 more games. Once again, it's the genius of Wayne Bennett. He just gets them up. You have a look at their team. There's a few high-profile players, but the rest of them are just players having a crack. I got to say, but Dragons were awful.
The Dragons they've been terrible all season, but I agree with Wayne Bennett. He does need a hell of a lot of praise, and look, he does get plenty, but he just teaches his teams to compete. Like, they play a simple game plan. All they do is complete. They complete it over probably, I reckon their average completion rate per game would be well over 80%, so they complete well. They can all tackle, so they're in the game, naturally in the game, and they just compete on every single play. And they're doing very, very well, as we know. I do agree with the Dragons. I actually tipped the Dragons to get the wooden spoon at the start of the year. I just thought on the back of their spine, you take Ben Hunt out of the team. I thought he's getting a little bit older. He's going to play in Origin. You take him out of the team. I feel them young guys, the halves and the fullback, I just don't know if they're ready for it week in, week out just yet, or to be able to control the team on their own. And
I think with the right coaches.
That's what I was going to say. So what is the next step?
Well,
for the Dragons?
I
How do they
don't
turn
know.
it around?
Well, they're obviously looking for a coach. I think maybe they haven't had the right coaching throughout their juniors. The thing about juniors these days is when kids dominate or they're a bit bigger and a bit stronger, they just dominate at all ages coming through. So they don't need to learn too much more. They don't need to learn that much skill about the game. They don't need to learn the little details of the game. When they get to first grade, when everyone's the same strength, the same speed, they get found out.
This is my argument about weight divisions.
Yeah,
you think it's for the smaller kids, but you're doing injustice to the big kids. They're not learning their trade anyway. That's another story.
Because Joey is right into a certain degree there. They're so dominant in their junior period and their junior careers. They get to first grade when everyone is at the same level. They just can't compete anymore. And all of a sudden, what they were doing in Jersey Flegg or reserve grade just doesn't come off in first grade. And I feel that's a little bit the same at the Dragons at the moment.
I think there's a team.
I think they've got some good players. I think another year of development, maybe a bit more coaching.
Sloan, Sullivan, Amone, and then you got Couchman on the bench. I think there's another guy debuted the other night, Hunt. He was ripping him. I think
Jaden Hunt.
They got Moses Sully on the left, and they got Zach Lomax on the right. They never get the ball. Never see him getting the ball. I never see Sloan getting the ball in open field.
I'll tell you what, they don't get in one-on-one situations, Joe, and that's the thing. If you get, Zach Lomax one-on-one, he's got a great right foot step. He's a big, strong man, but they like that as the catch and pass and give them the ball and say, do your best, but they've got 3 or 4 guys in front of them. As you know, as I said before, these guys are so big and so strong. One-on-one, they're hard to handle. You put 2 or 3 guys on one bloke, it's impossible for them to do anything.
When, the other week, when Moses Sully did get the ball, did you see the runaway try that he scored?
You give him the ball, as Gal said, one-on-one, just dress it up a little bit to get him one-on-one, manipulate the defence, and then he gets in the clear, and then you play off that. Then you go the other side and play to Zach. But
is that part of their coaching and what they need to do going forward?
I don't know, unless you're in there, Gal. But I think there's a team there. But their next coach needs to be an educator. Through the club.
Have we heard any rumours or decisions on who their next coach is going to be?
Rolls is the one they're talking.
Jason Rolls is the front runner for it. Yeah. And that's a sort of unfolding situation as well.
Yes, it's moving.
Gus swore on 100% footy on Monday night it won't happen. And Gus doesn't say too many things like that where he swears it won't happen unless he knows something. So he doesn't think it'll happen.
It's Ben Hornby, Dean Young. So I think, honestly, like what Joey's talking about, if you can get those edge strike players isolating their defenders, it's the middles that actually need to break it down on a second row and a half to create that opportunity and create a long short side. So give them the space and time to do that. And, you know, at the moment, it's just not happening for the Dragons. But for the Dolphins, I thought we saw that last footage of Jermaine Asako. He's found a new lease of life there under Wayne Bennett. And that's what Wayne does beautifully. He gets the best out of every single one of his players that comes to him. And that's how he can build that resilience. That's how he builds that team around that next man up mentality.
Anthony Milford saved his career there.
Milford's going
Don't call him his nickname either. Milford. No, don't say it.
Hey, Jerry Marshall King,
hasn't he been?
He's unbelievable.
He's the most underrated player.
Without a doubt. Like when he left the Canterbury, I didn't think too much of it, but they're missing him terribly, and he's just excelling up there. He's going fantastic. He's playing real well.
There's no doubt that Wayne Bennett, he does manage the personalities and the players so well. Jeremy Marshall King, Anthony Milford, Cody Nikorima, Jermaine Asako. He's doing such a fantastic job.
He does. Look, we've praised Wayne Bennett plenty of times, and I'll keep praising him. Look, I played 3 games under Wayne Bennett in All-Stars camp. That was it. And so that was only a week at a time. And I can honestly say, by the end of the week, if you had said run for a brick wall, I would have done my best for him. He's a guy you want to play for. And I think as a player, you can't praise a coach enough that they're saying that.
I think it's his biggest achievement.
Yeah.
Through his career in that
And do you know what's also really special? Seeing Redcliffe. They absolutely love it up there. It was, they're all about...
No, they love it.
And next time we will remember to tell Joey that it's at Redcliffe and not Suncorp Stadium.
What about when Valence Tafare went back onto the field? The cheer
the whole stadium
that was
cheer.
fantastic.
I'm just wondering where Cameron Smith and Billy were. They're just down the road.
Just down the road.
Let's go to a break.
All right, well, we're going to be talking to the Blues coming up straight after the break. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Sunday Footy Show on Nine's Wide World of Sports.